I'm pleased to welcome Nina Choom with the Advisor Diversity and Inclusion Team and Surin Barsumian, the founder and financial advisor at SMB Financial Strategies. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So we are celebrating Women's History Month. So I want to start with that question. How important is it to celebrate the accomplishments and the contributions women have made through the course of our entire history? Surin, let's start with you.
Sure. I would say it's extremely important. I think that as women, we are pretty selfless, whether it's as our role as a mother, a spouse, a sibling, a daughter, and we oftentimes do what needs to get done, and we're not looking for the recognition. And so to have a month where we can celebrate each other and pick each other up and share some inspirational stories to give us the motivation to continue to do great things, I think is extremely important.
And Nina, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I echo those thoughts. I think it's very important to take that time to celebrate. Sometimes we are so head down in our work and we're so focused that we forget. And so I think it's just a good reminder of, hey, this is just take some time to celebrate the wins that we've had.
Yeah, that's right. And we should be doing that year round as well.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Surin, give us an idea of your career path. How did you get into the financial services industry?
So I'm a bit of an anomaly in that sense. I started straight out of college. So this is kind of the only career I've ever had, which is fairly uncommon. So I started my career straight out of college at Ameriprise Financial and worked there for a few years and then joined LPL in 2009. And so I think the evolution of my career hasn't changed that much in terms of my role. I've always been an advisor. But what's been interesting for me to watch is, and to experience is the lack of women in our industry. So for me, specifically being a young female advisor for a very long time, I was oftentimes the only one at a conference or the only one at the event. You know, there's usually a handful of us, and most certainly I was the only one under the age of 40 years old. And so that was sad to me. I have started to see a shift in the last couple of years, which is really exciting for me. And I know that LPL has a lot of initiatives with their women's community as well as their next gen community. So that's exciting to see.
And what would you say makes women uniquely qualified and suited really to be financial advisors?
I feel that we have a great sense of empathy and emotional intelligence. When you're working with as someone's financial advisor, it's actually a very intimate relationship. They are opening up their financial lives to you. And sometimes that's something they're proud of. And sometimes that's something that they're not proud of. And so going through that process with them, learning, how they made the decisions that they made, why they are where they are, is like I said, extremely intimate. And so I think it's important to have those skill sets to be able to connect with your clients.
Yeah, and Nina, Surin, just mentioned that she is oftentimes the only woman in the room sometimes. So what is LPL doing to try to bring more women into the financial services industry, but also to LPL?
Yeah, absolutely. So LPL's introduced a number of new programs for associate advisors through LPL's Independent Advisor Institute. Really happy to report that approximately 30% of the associate advisors that are currently participating in the II programs so far this year are women. And so that's really a promising sign of progress in gender representation for the next gen of financial professionals, just like what Surin mentioned, that next gen piece.
Yeah, no, that's great. Let's talk about one of the other ways that LPL is trying to support women. It's through these women advisor business communities. And tell us a little bit about that. What do they bring to the table and what's the intention there?
Yeah, definitely. So our team, the Advisor Diversity and Inclusion team, we created the advisor business communities as a way to cultivate engagement and connection amongst our community of women advisors, and not just women advisors, but our underrepresented advisors. We've organized and hosted several advisor business community events, both in person, obviously, pre-COVID, to virtual events. And really, it's just to enable our women advisors to connect with peers, learn about different resources that can help enhance the growth and efficiency of their business. And then we also look at hosting and growing our LinkedIn group. It's our way of providing a platform, an online platform for our women advisors to stay connected and to continue to exchange resources virtually.
Yeah, a great tool to engage. Now, Seren, you play a role in the women's advisor business community. Tell us why that's so important and why did you get involved?
It's extremely important to me. So as I shared with you earlier, for a long time, I don't want to use the word outsider, but I felt alone in the sense that because of my age and because of my sex. And I'm extremely passionate about bringing more women into this financial services industry. I think it's a wonderful industry for women to be in. It's allowed me to have a fulfilling career on my terms in the independent platform here at LPL, but also be the type of mom that I want to be. And I think it's a great fit for women to have that work-life balance, but there are a lot of hurdles or barriers to entry that oftentimes pushes women away or pushes them into more of a service role rather than the lead advisor or business role, or business owner role, I should say.
So you got involved in an effort to try to encourage, more of that engagement and sharing of knowledge, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other companies are like, but there has never been a single advisor, and I will say male or female at LPL, that I haven't asked for help and haven't shared their experiences, shared their resources, shared anything that they're using in their practice that helps them. And so to be able to cultivate that is extremely powerful tool for LPL.
Well, that's great to hear. Seren, you have said one of the things as a new advisor, you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give other advisors who, if they feel like they may be missing out or they don't know where to go, or they just feel like they need to ask somebody some questions? What would you say to them?
So I am here today as an ambassador and helping LPL and the diversity inclusion team because I put myself out there. I met Nina at a focus conference a couple of years ago through another LPL home office person. So don't be afraid to ask for help and don't be afraid to voice the things that you are passionate about. I share that this is something I'm passionate about. I want more women. How can I help? Whether it's home office advisors or whether it's fellow LPL advisors, just ask. In a way, I would think of it as part of your business plan or your marketing plan. This year I want to meet 2 advisors that live in my region and I want to have coffee with them every 6 months. What you will get out of those relationships, you don't know, but I will tell you that they're extremely valuable. So it's kind of like you reap what you sow. If you're not putting yourself out there, you're not going to build those relationships. You're not going to have those connections. You're not going to have those resources. So you have to take a little bit of ownership on that. But I think the value is immeasurable.
And Nina, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think that's the biggest part about our advisor business communities is that connection piece, right? So you don't feel so alone. And it's not to say, I've heard this a lot where our underrepresented advisors or women advisors feel like they're on an island, and you never want to feel that way. Sometimes you just need that one person to connect with. And the great thing about what we do and what we build with our advisors is really finding ways to connect our advisors with each other. We have peer-to-peer discussions, and a lot of it is advisor-led. And Seren is actually, I love what Seren said, because she said how she kind of just reached out and was like, hey, what can I do to help? Well, ever since
I haven't stopped asking.
Ever since she said that, we've kind of held each other accountable, right? What can we do? How can we help each other? How can we partner? And how can we support our advisors from the LPL home office standpoint? And then from the advisor side, what relationships can they foster? What can they build without us? And I think that's the beauty of it. The reason why we hold the local region events is that so the advisors can find other advisors that are maybe 15 miles, 10 miles away from, and they didn't even know. And it's great because, hey, I'm having a rough day. You want to grab some coffee? Let's talk about something. So it doesn't necessarily have to be all about the business. Yes, it's great, of course, because you're going to share best practices, but to build that relationship is key.
One time, not too long ago, I went to an IAI conference, and it was the student group, and they were getting together. And that's what every one of those new advisors were saying is it's just so very important to engage with other advisors, because many times you have gone through the same thing, or you're going through the same thing, and that support, those lessons learned can be invaluable.
Absolutely.
Well, Nina, Seren, we're out of time, but thank you so very much for being here, sharing such great information. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For additional information about upcoming events or support that's available, you can reach out to the Advisor Diversity and Inclusion team at this email. It's lplfinancial.advisorinclusion@lplfinancial.com, or you can visit the Diversity and Inclusion page on the Resource Center. When we come back, we're going to talk with Andy Callbaugh. Stay with us.